Hey there guys, and welcome to today's video. So today we're going to be playing in our Interleaved Bible with some new funky paint markers that I just bought from a company called Edding. But first we're going to create a background using this stencil from the Crafter's Workshop. It's actually called Rainbow Montage, but I like it because it almost gives that feeling of like close-up of a fingerprint. And we're using the scripture Romans 8:28 that says, "And we know that those who love God, all things work together for good." And I wanted to use this as kind of an homage to the idea that if God is going to work things for our good, it means that he has his hands in everything. And so that means his fingerprints are going to be on everything. So that's kind of where this idea for using this rainbow montage as a background. And I wanted it to be black because I'm going to throw a lot of color on top of it, and I just thought it would make a really great contrast. So now I'm going to go in with these new markers that I just got from Edding. So I had the chance to play with these when I was at a trade show back in April, and I just fell in love with them. They are more opaque than the Posca pens that we kind of usually play with. Good saturation. These are their smaller nib ones, so they are a 1 to 2 millimeter. I might have gone just a smidge crazy on the Michaels website and had some fun buying a bunch. But I just wanted to be able to try a bunch of different colors. I bought some mediums and some fine points. And I honestly have just had a lot of fun playing with them so far. I wanted to add those pops of color to the back, kind of to give a little nod to the fact that these are rainbows, but then also kind of to have that idea of if God has his hands in everything, then it doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter if it's the dark parts of life, the light parts of life, the green parts of life, the blue parts of life, that his fingerprints are in all of them. I also wanted to go in and add some neon. So these are the I think they're called Moonlight Jelly Roll pens from Sakura, and they're just super fabulous for adding really great pops of neon, especially on your blacks and that kind of thing. I'm loving them. They're some of my favorites. I've had them for a while. I think I did a video on them a long time ago. But I think this background is super funky. I love it. I know it's not my normal bright, colorful kind of thing. Well, I guess it is kind of colorful, but it has a lot of black in it, which I know is not my normal style. And so this is going to seem weird. So I'm actually taking these stamps from Illustrated Faith to do my title, and I know they're totally blending in right now because I'm just using some jet black archival ink, but I'm going to go back in and zhuzh them up and just add more color and add more texture. But I really wanted to use these, number one, because they're good and chunky, so they take up a lot of space. And I'm just kind of in love with this funky kind of font that they are. I'm kind of totally in love with it right now. So you can see I'm just letting that kind of sit and make sure it's dry, because I want to go in and do something a little bit different. I actually didn't plan on doing this whenever I first decided to do this project, but I felt like it needed a little, I don't know, maybe a little something more, maybe a little grungy. I'm not really sure what you want to call it. But I wanted to kind of figure out a way to incorporate the idea of, you know, the scripture says God works all things for good. So the opposite of good is bad. And so I wanted to figure out a way to kind of reiterate the idea that even through our tears, even through the bad things, that God will work those for his good, that even behind those tears, that God's hand is in it and God's fingerprints are on our life. So I took some acrylic paint and just watered it down and just held my Bible up and just allowed it to kind of naturally drip down. I wanted just this idea of tears, but God's hand still being in it. And I really feel like this particular project really kind of, I guess, approximated, kind of, it's an example of what that kind of felt like or feels like to me. I just love this idea of no matter what our tears are, no matter whether they're happy tears or sad tears, whatever they might be, that God is still there. His fingerprints are still on our life, and he's just going to be there to bring us through it, that it's all going to be for good no matter what. And we'll just have to sometimes wait, which is not always the funnest part. And this is the white pen from Edding. As you can see, it gives a really great color. On each pen, which is super nice, they have a scale that shows the opacity. This one is right in the middle, so it's not a solid white, but it definitely has more of an opacity than probably the Posca white pen. So I'll leave a link to these. I bought them on Michael's, but I think you can buy them on Amazon as well. I'm loving them. I think they're super fun. Like I said, they're beautiful, rich colors, pretty comparable in price um, to the Posca pens. I will say though, while I'm kind of just going in with those neon colors again to just add some pop and add some fun, I actually did find these Edding pens, like I said earlier, on Michael's, and they were actually they are a brand that you can use their coupon on. So you could use, I believe they have a 20% off coupon going on right now. So you would be able to get 20% off of those. So that would actually make them cheaper than the Posca pens. So it's just something to think about. So I'm just going in with those neon just to kind of give those black letters more pop and more oomph. And I'm just really loving how this is turning out. So this is actually a white ink pad. It's a pigment ink pad from Brutus Monroe. It's called Alabaster White. If you've ever looked for a white stamping pad, this is your go-to one. It is fantastic. It gives you a nice white saturated color. It is a pigment ink, so it takes a little longer to dry, so you definitely want to hit it with a heat gun as you go forward. But if you're looking for one, this one is fabulous and I love it. But I wanted to give a little space for me to write more of my title on. And I wanted to, again, just kind of go through that idea of through my tears, you work all for good. And I just realized as I'm doing that, it actually says work all for good. Oh well, too late now. Nothing I can do about it. Not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes, but we're just going to leave it there and see how many people notice. I mean, I noticed as I'm writing this or as I'm watching it, but that's okay. It is all good. Made sure to go over there and highlight what I was doing. And I'm going back in with that yellow and just kind of bringing up the those little riverlets that are supposed to be kind of like my tear stains and my teardrops. So that is my project. I hope you understood and kind of felt what I was trying to do, and you understand that God's hand is in everything, and it is for our good, and He'll make it work for that. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you guys next time.